Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rob Long and this is how I became a medical guy. I was never a very good student when I was a kid. My ADD was pretty legendary, and by the time I made it to high school, all I cared about was music, girls, and getting into trouble. I was pretty much a hoodlum. I was even sent home from school the very first day of high school, the half day. I wasn't even doing anything wrong. The principal just didn't like the looks of me apparently, and my reputation preceded me. All of this ultimately led to me dropping out. I never even completed my freshman year, which as far as I know, you're not even supposed to be able to drop out that young, but I guess I just kind of fell through the cracks, and good riddance to me, I guess. For the next few years, I spent my time goofing off and not really amounting to much. Then when I was about 18 or 19, my dad said he would send me to a vocational school to be an auto mechanic. I thought, sure, sounds good. After all, my dad was very mechanically inclined and had already taught me a lot over the years. I was already into cars anyway and could do a pretty decent job with body work and most minor mechanical jobs. We had a meeting at the school and they sent me home with a brochure highlighting all of their programs. While reading through the brochure, something really caught my eye. Surgical technologist. I was really intrigued by the idea of it and for whatever reason could picture myself in that role. I had always been into medical shows, both reality and drama, and science was pretty much one of the only classes I ever took in school that I didn't consistently get a D or an F in. But, long story short, I didn't end up doing it. Or auto mechanics either. The whole vocational school thing kind of fell by the wayside, and I went back to doing pretty much a bunch of nothing. Years went by and I had lots of jobs and businesses that I started. I did lawn and landscaping for several years. I started a business making custom fiberglass car parts. I owned a house painting business for a while. I owned a bar for a year, and I was a pizza delivery driver. This went on for many, many years. Nothing ever really stable, never really settling into anything. Finally, I was at my wit's end and decided it was time for a career, something reliable, something stable, a real profession. My mind went back to the interest I had in doing a medical job, just like the one I learned about from that vocational school's brochure all those years before. And my mind immediately went back to surgical technologist. I went online and started doing some research into it, which led me into watching a bunch of YouTube videos about it. I stumbled across someone's channel called Surgical Tech Tips. I'll leave a link in the description below. He really took a deep inside look into what it was like to be a surgical tech, from what the schooling was like to all the ups and downs of the job. And I watched his videos and eventually came to two conclusions. One, surgical tech was not for me. No way I could stand in one spot for that long. The ADD is still very much an issue. And two, I knew that I was going to start a medical career. I just didn't know what direction I would take yet. During my research of those medical jobs, I came across medical assistant. EKGs, blood draws, injections, lab tests. It sounded more like what I wanted to do. So I started looking for a school, most of which were too expensive and took a year or more to complete. Then I heard of MA classes at one of the local community colleges that I didn't even realize they offered. Apparently the medical certificate classes were buried deep within the school's website, but they were less than half the price of the next cheapest school and only took a little less than 7 months to complete. I wanted to enroll immediately, so I went online to see about the requirements to enroll. Books, navy blue scrubs, stethoscope, high school diploma or equivalency. I had made it all these years never needing a diploma until now. So I started studying for the GED test. I studied every day and pretty much taught myself all of high school in about 3 months. I took the test and passed with no problem. When it was all said and done, I went back to the school's website to enroll and saw that the next start date was in less than a week. So I called the school and asked what the cutoff time was for enrollment, and they said so long as they received the payment before the first day of class, I was pretty much good to go. which sounded good, except for my absolute total lack of money. So I went to one of those crappy personal loan places and got approved for a loan for the totally awesome interest rate of 29.9%. By the time I had my funds in the account, it was only 3 days till the first day of class, and I still needed the books and everything else. Amazon 2-day shipping to the rescue. Everything arrived literally just in time. So I spent the next 7 months going to school in the evenings 2 days a week and working for a food delivery place in the afternoons. I was broke as a joke, but had enough time to study and do well in the classes. The way the classes worked at this particular school was that they offered a phlebotomy class, an EKG class, and an MA class. The phlebotomy and EKG classes were prerequisites for the MA class. So I started with EKG, then took phlebotomy next, and then finally the MA class. They split it up like that so you could just take phlebotomy if you wanted to get a license as a phlebotomist, or just take EKG if you wanted to be an EKG tech. I was dead set on becoming an MA, but it was nice to know about those other options. So that was it. I made it all the way through the classes and got my license as a medical assistant. Getting a job right out of school with zero work experience is challenging, to say the least, but my MA instructor directed me to a manager of a nearby urgent care clinic and told me to tell the manager who sent me. Turns out this manager had gotten their MA license through the same school several years earlier and had the same instructor, so all I had to do was pretty much name drop. It was just the inside connection that I needed, and I was hired and working within a month. However, within about a year or two, I knew that I wanted more, whether it be nursing school and ultimately a nurse practitioner or even med school. And that's what led me to here. This is my medical journey. Subscribe to this channel and follow my progress as we take a deep dive into all things related to medical careers. I'm Rob Long, and I'm a medical guy. Thanks for watching.